Testing students with special needs is the challenge of our time right now for states. It's finding a test that, let's say, Tony, we're giving a third grade math test, and we have some students that's maybe not on the third grade level yet. And but if they have special needs, it's according to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA is what we would call it. They're not allowed to give them an off-grade level test. So the same would apply if there's an 8th grade student with a 6th grade reading level. I can't give them the 6th grade test. I have to test them on standards that are for 8th graders in their state. So that creates a challenge. How do you make a test that's accessible and is also on the correct grade level, and it's describing the performance of the state standards for that grade level? So No Child Left Behind requires that we test all the students, and that we find a test even for these subgroups that, like English language learners or students with disabilities, that we find an appropriate test for them. And states are given some flexibility in how they do that.
Edvantia's national faculty member, Dr. Jan Shanker, is with us by phone today as well. And she's going to talk to us about understanding the issues around alignment for students with special needs. And so, Jan, why do we need different types of assessments, types that are often referred to as general and alternate?
When we talk about the different types of assessments, the ideal is that every child would be appropriately measured to determine to what degree they have mastered the standards. This idea or this vision has been rolled out in the guidance through permissions to do different kinds of alternate assessments. The first one that most states have tackled are the 1%, that is an assessment, an alternate assessment based on alternate achievement standards for students with the most significant disabilities, usually significant cognitive disabilities. And then the realization, I think, that became clear under No Child Left Behind was that there are other populations of students that also cannot appropriately take the general assessment. So this motivated the development of alternate assessments based on modified achievement descriptors, and these are the students that are sort of that in-between group between the general assessment and those most significant students with the most significant cognitive disabilities. But there is one other alternate assessment that we've not seen much of and we're just beginning to see, and that is an alternate assessment that's meant to measure those students' achievement who can, in fact, demonstrate achievement of the general ed content standards, but who cannot do that on a typical standardized test. So those are the three kinds, and the vision of that is that all of these together would form a comprehensive assessment system.
Jan, what do you see when you work on aligning these types of assessments with standards?
These alternate assessments create some unique challenges in the way we look at alignment between standards and assessments. For one thing, obviously an alternate assessment based on alternate achievement standards for that very lowest 1% of students requires fairly extensive reduction in the challenge that one would see in a general assessment. So that means that in a very circumspect way, states have had to look at their general content standards and to say, how would we measure this population, or what is the essence of this content that we want to help students achieve and measure their achievement on. And that has produced some differences in the way we look at alignment.